I think that more than 1 million people worldwide who are now driving a Model 3 really know their car very well because they have driven thousands of miles with it. If they get in here now, they will probably say, this model is much better. In 2019, the Model 3 was sold about 100,000 times in Europe, which was so much that everyone was given a keycard. Many of these cars were leased, and now, after 5 years of leasing, many of these cars are coming back to the market as used cars. This price for a used electric car, in this case a Model 3, is expected to be very interesting. In Europe, prices are already starting to drop, and you can get the cheapest Tesla Model 3 from 2019 for as low as 23,000 euros. It's something to think about. You are in a used Model 3. Maybe it's worth waiting until next year, which also means that many people who previously drove a Model 3 might think, I want a new Model 3. Well, that's good news because I'm now in the upgraded Tesla Model 3. Due to the significant efficiency that Tesla achieves with its models, this has a pleasant side effect. It allows them to play flexibly with the price. The base version of this car is reasonably priced, averaging 42,000 euros in Europe, with the possibility of additional subsidies, such a reduction of 3,000 euros in the Netherlands. This makes the car accessible to a wide audience, especially compared to other models like the BMW i4, the new Volkswagen ID.7, Xpeng, Zeekr, and perhaps the Peugeot 308. But let's return to the innovations of the Model 3. Significant improvements have been made. Although the exterior appearance has not changed drastically, there lies the strength similar to Apple's iPhone approach. The headlights have undergone a subtle change in shape, and the body parts have largely remained unchanged, except for the front fenders. This is, of course, driven by logistics. When a car manufacturer constantly makes changes to the bodywork, they still need to be able to supply the necessary parts, especially since cars often suffer damage. Keeping these parts uniform greatly facilitates the logistics process. The taillights have a slightly different shape, giving the wall a more mature appearance. It is noteworthy that Tesla is spelled out instead of the usual logo on the rear hatch. In addition, the hood is slightly tilted downward, contributing to a subtle improvement in the overall shape and aerodynamics of the car. The Tesla Model 3 is already known as one of the most energy-efficient electric cars on the market, with a consumption of 13 kWh per 60 miles. In practice, an average driver will come out around 50 to 16 kWh per 60 miles, which is a very impressive score. The capacity of the battery has reportedly increased to 61 kWh, although Tesla never officially states this information. On 18-inch wheels, the standard wheels, although not necessarily the most beautiful, the Model 3 achieved the best efficiency. With the rear-wheel drive version, you can go about 380 miles, probably a bit less in practice, but with careful driving, 252 miles should be achievable. If you opt for the long-range version, which costs around 47,000 euros, you can even exceed 390 miles on standard wheels. These are impressive performances. What Tesla emphasizes, and what they are rightly proud of, is the improved driving experience of the Model 3. Every car manufacturer claims at the new model introduction that the predecessor was good, but the new one is even better. Although not in those exact words, Tesla acknowledged that the new Model 3 is significantly improved. The driving behavior is more mature, more solid, and more cohesive. Thanks to numerous small adjustments, the car has become significantly quieter, partly due to the application of double glazing, resulting in less tire and wind noise. Overall, the The new Model 3 has matured considerably from the inside. What I find less pleasant is the straight line stability during highway drives. You notice that you constantly have a settled steering feel, and although it is not very noticeable at first, after a while you wonder why you are steering while driving straight. This phenomenon is quite common in cars and may be related to the tires. Under the Tesla are Michelin tires, and if you opt for larger wheels, you may get different tires that not have this issue. So I'm not entirely sure if it's the car itself, but it's a small downside. Another aspect that I find less appealing is the fact that you cannot adjust the regenerative braking in this model. My experience is that the braking is not extremely powerful. It's not bothersome on its own, but there are moments when you might want to adjust it to your preference. However, I expect that Tesla will likely make this option available through a software update. But let's return to the innovations of the Model 3. The screen remains the same, but due to the thinner bezel, you get slightly more information. And the screen is more responsive than before. It now has turn signals like the Model S and Model X, located on the steering wheel. Is that convenient? I suspect it becomes more comfortable as you drive the car longer. But why deviate from the familiar lever? With those turn signals, I had to look for them when entering a roundabout, especially in bad weather and in the dark, where you're already busy keeping an eye for your fellow road users. Then you also have to look for those indicators on the steering wheel. The car no longer has a lever for shifting gears. It's now all integrated into the screen. These changes are actually preparing us for the moment when the car will do everything itself, including using the turn signals and determining forward and backward movement. That moment is not entirely here yet, but Tesla is trying to get consumers accustomed to the idea by eliminating as many of these traditional components and elements of the car. The new seats in the Tesla Model 3 show a significant improvement, where seats were never Tesla's strong point. Despite producing everything themselves and therefore not being affected by interruptions in the supply chain due to events like the COVID-19 pandemic, they have clearly improved craftsmanship. These seats not only offer demonstrably more comfort than their predecessors, but also feature seat cooling, perfect for the hottest days. In addition, the rear seat is in a slightly different angle, contributing to an even more comfortable seating experience. I imagine that the million Model 3 drivers who really know their car very well after thousands of miles of driving will say when getting in the new Model 3, this car is much better. It looks like a bit neater and more major, drives significantly better, quieter and more comfortable, and the price is also reasonable, much better than before. Although it's not a unique choice, given the fact that many people in Europe own a Tesla Model 3. The number of owners also speaks for the quality of the product. If you are hesitant because you think everyone already has a Tesla Model 3, consider that many people, partly due to the subsidies still available, choose this car. The fact that these subsidies are still in effect, albeit in modified form, still influences many people's decision to go for the Model 3.